So I first learned about this task, I think, about 10 years ago from David Butler from the University of Adelaide. And if you follow David on social media or on his blog, he often talks about quarter of the cross. So what we have is a cross that's made from 5 identical squares. It looks a bit like a plus sign. So we put one square in the middle and then we attach 4 more squares, each sharing an edge with the center square. So we put one above, one below, one to the left, and one to the right. And the task is to colour in exactly 1/4 of this cross. And you have to be sure that it's a quarter. When I do this task, I start by showing a slide with the instructions, and then I hand out a sheet with 6 smaller copies of this cross. You might be thinking, why 6? It's to encourage people to find more than one way of approaching the problem. So when you look, and I'll talk through some examples in a moment, but when you look online at pictures of this activity, the end product is so aesthetically pleasing. You put them on classroom walls and students colour them in, and they use different colours and shapes, and actually the result would fit really well in an arts classroom as well. And I remember working with a class in a primary school in Perth maybe 10 years ago, and one student made a picture where there was a bird flying over a grassy area under a sun, and when you worked it out, the shaded area was exactly 1/4 of the cross. It was completely beautiful. Yes, your face says it all. And she had another one where there was a mountain and a lake and the sky, and again, the shaded area was exactly 1/4 of the cross. So the product is amazing, and people think about creativity as the product, but it's actually also the process. This is why I like this one, because students are creative in the ways they generate new ways of thinking about how to make a quarter. And you can hear them go, oh, wow, I can actually do this. I'll give you an example. The first solutions people find are often ones that come from symmetry. So I can fold my cross in half lengthwise and then in half again and open it up. And I have 4 equal parts. And if I shade in one of these 4 equal parts, I get an L shape, and that looks, it is exactly 1/4 of the cross. Yep. The other one that you get that also works with folding is instead you fold diagonally through the middle of your cross and you do it again and you get what looks like a house shape. So when you unfold that, and these are the 2 that you often see, the L and the house shape emerge. So this house you can find by folding, but actually you can also find by doing one of your 4 squares plus 1/4 of the square in the middle, and that's how you get the roof of the house, that last triangle. All of a sudden we have 2 different ways of creating this house shape, which is 1/4 of our cross. And then at some point, a student goes, you know what, I can take the roof of this house off and I can move it somewhere else. And it doesn't matter where I put it, it won't change the area. And so this is now still 1/4 of the cross. And then someone will realize, actually, you know what, if I add a bit and subtract a bit, it doesn't change the area. So if I wanted to put a circular window in my house, I could take out an orange bit and I could put it up here and make it the sun. And all of a sudden my house now has a circular window and I've put a sun and I haven't changed the area and my design is still 1/4 of the cross. And once you do this, it just opens up so many possibilities that people are now saying, you didn't give me enough crosses on the sheet of 6 because I've got more ideas that I want to explore. So what makes this creative is that process that students are going through. And that to me is what creativity is in mathematics.
It just seems so rich with content as well. I'm, primary school teacher, so I'm thinking about the concept of area and also the fraction stuff. There's so much there that we need to teach anyway, or give opportunities to review. It's wonderful when you come across a task that's so exciting and creative that allows you to do that.
And we've only just touched on the surface of this. You could look at the whole cross as one unit and then decompose it into any number of smaller parts. And as long as you colour in 1/4 of those, and it doesn't matter where you colour them, you will get that. I've written about this on my blog, as has David, so there's lots of resources to use. The other thing about this task is that you can use it in primary school and you can use it all the way up into university level mathematics. David created, I think, 100 of his favourite quarter the crosses, where he used theorems from geometry, for instance, to do the most amazing things when you can be sure that they're a quarter of the cross. I did some where I used trigonometric functions, and you can prove using integrals that this is exactly a quarter of that shape.